Welcome back to part 2 of our video. I am Brother Lucas, and that is Sean Patrick. So, part 2 of this video covering the July 15th B Block tournament for the G1 28 tournament. Yeah. So this part is going to cover the singles matches, which is going to consist of Tomohiro Ishii versus Toru Yano. The next one is going to be Tama Tonga versus Juice Robinson. Then it has Hiroki Goto versus Sonata, Kota Ibushi versus Zack Sabre Jr., and then of course Tetsuya Naito versus Kenny Omega. So going straight into the Ishii versus Yano match, this was surprisingly awesome. Like, they played into a lot of their dynamics that they had together. So it was pretty short and sweet, but you'll see when I start talking about it why it fits together with their whole gimmick. So it starts off. They go for a tie-up, and Yano ducks a tie-up, goes into the ropes, does his little thing where he backs off. Then Yano absorbs a shoulder block, and you'll see during this match, Yano gets like increasingly more of a wrestler, and he started kind of showing that last night when you saw him do the forearm shots, the trades. That I never see him do anything like that, and then that was a glimmer into what happens coming up in this match. So they go on the outside. Yano tries to throw Ishii into the rail. Ishii reverses it, hits the rail. Rocky gets hit on commentary, and then Don Callis kind of throwing a rib at Rocky for, I guess, not working as much as he normally did. And he says, that's the first bump you've taken in 2 months. And so a nice little breaking the kayfabe there. Ishii hits the belly to back. Yano hits the inverted atomic drop. And then Ishii blocks Yano's attempt to take off the turnbuckle pad, because Yano always goes for the turnbuckle pad, if you guys know, if you watch Yano matches. He blocks it the first time, then Yano finally gets the pad off. Ishii runs into the exposed turnbuckle. Then Yano ducks behind ducks Ishii's attacks from behind, rather. Sorry, technical difficulty there. You know how Yano does the yell, 1, 2, and then he ducks like whenever the other guy's behind him. Yeah. So he ducks that. Yano slingshots Ishii in the turnbuckle. Ishii does a corner splash and misses it, hits the turnbuckle again. Yano goes for a couple roll-ups, 2 or 3 different near falls. And then Ishii starts to absorb Yano's forearms. At this point, Ishii starts to do his thing, which is the no-sell. And then Yano absorbs some of Ishii's shots and then hits Ishii so hard with the forearm that he goes down to his knees, which you never see that. And then Ishii hits Yano with the German. Yano eats the German, absorbs it, stands back up as Ishii starts to take control at this point. Now, wrapping this match up, Ishii's trying to put Yano in some kind of maneuver, and Yano grabs the ref to sort of like counterbalance his weight, and then like ends up, they throw the ref away a few times, but it leads to Yano gets Ishii from behind. The ref isn't looking, he had gotten shoved away, and then Ishii hits a mule kick low blow, and then he proceeds to put Yano into the La Magistra cradle for the pin. And why that's significant is because, so not only was Yano trying to step up to like Ishii's combat level to keep up with him here, but at the end, Ishii stooped to Yano's level of his normal tactics to end up winning. So it's like really interesting dynamic there. And they're obviously, those guys are a tag team normally. So yeah, what are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, with them being a tag team normally, they know each other's moveset, and they know what each other's going to do. And to that point, Yano stepping up and going back to wrestling instead of being more of a comedy character, it kind of may have thrown a little bit of a hitch into the offense there of Ishii. Overall, it was a great match. I really don't have anything to add to that. Those forearm shots were great. Yeah, just a great match. I'm ready to watch the next one. You?
Let's do it.
Hey folks, we're back. We just got done watching Tama Tonga versus Juice Robinson. Pretty exciting match. Started off slow, like all matches, or all good matches do anyway. Had a series of wrist locks, holds, just good technical chain wrestling. the way it should be done, really. After that, Tanaloa distracts Juice. Tonga jumped Juice from behind. When he does so, he ends up throwing Juice into the barricade on the outside of the ring. He tries to slam his hand with that gate, but he misses. After that, there's this great spot with some rope running. You had Tonga. He was going back and forth, and then he actually switched sides, which is something that you don't see on an everyday basis, especially in your Western wrestling. Of course, Loa's ringside, and there has to have a beatdown that happens, so it did, and that's just playing into this division in the Bullet Club. They're going back to where they used to be, doing run-ins, interfering in matches, stuff like that. Further, solidifying that divide between Kenny Cody's side of things with the Bucks and with the Samoans. What are your thoughts on the division and also the rest of the match?
Oh, so first off, just saying, playing on what you said about that clothesline on the outside, that was like a killer. Like he was like reverse whipped him, and then it was almost like a rainmaker, like because of the angle, as like on the outside as a hell of a spot. And then like you said, they're going back to the roots. When Bullet Club first formed, they were all about like getting involved in the matches behind the ref's back and like stuff like that. So they were actually more of a heel faction at that point, because Japanese fans don't really like that kind of stuff. So they got heat. So they're trying to go back to that with their part of the Bullet Club anyway. So then Tama hits that dirty neck breaker where he grabs a handful of hair while he takes him down, as a really crisp neck breaker though. Then Tama hits Juice with they're calling it the Tongan twist, and it's basically like a modified, somewhat like where the arm is in a different spot, like Cody's crossroads, the same move. Then Thomas steps on Juice's hand for like a long while and just kind of smothers it and twists it around, and just makes Juice sit there and suffer. He sells for a bit, and then Juice hits him with his signature jabs with those rights, and then it's like he forgot he couldn't hit him with his left hand, because when it came down to the point where he's supposed to hit him with his left, he's just like, he's like forgot that he couldn't do that.
Yeah, he still has that cast on there, so
yeah,
he's not allowed to use it in these matches.
Yeah, plus it's supposed to be like broken, so yeah. And then Tama gets him in a standing guillotine. Juice reverses it into a jackhammer, and then Juice hits a cannonball in the corner on Tama. Tama goes for a Tongan twist again. Juice reverses this into like I don't know if it's supposed to be just like kind of like a backstabber to the gut, like a gut buster, like with knees, but it didn't really work out.
It's almost then, like the vertical suplex where you hold him up, but I think he went a little bit too far back and ended up falling down, and then Tonga fell on top of it.
I thought he was trying to do a move, like, but maybe not.
We can watch it again, and you should watch it too, because you should be subscribed to New Japan World, even though we're not sponsored by them.
It's worth it.
You should.
It's worth it. It really is. It's if you pay for the network for WWE and like you think that's worth it, you'll like if you get into this kind of wrestling, you'll really appreciate what they have on there. But yeah. So then Juice, after he did that weird move, then he went for the electric chair. It was like the third time he went for the electric chair. He finally hits him with the face buster from that position. Then Tongaloa gets on the apron, and Juice tosses him into the ring, and then he hits him with his full combo, the rights and the left, and then like he remembers that he shouldn't do that and was like screaming about his hand. And then I like how Juice is just kind of an idiot about his injury, but it's great. Then he goes for Pulp Friction. Tama reverses it into a gun stun, just out of nowhere, like RKO style, but it might be even like more timed than that. It's like pretty accurate. And then on the way out, Tama Tonga says to the camera something along the lines of, I'm paraphrasing here, he says, we recognize the need for balance, and there is no balance without chaos. And I don't know if he just meant literally just chaos, which I know he did, but I didn't know if there's any more meaning to that since there's a faction called Chaos and they're in turmoil just like Bullet Club is. I don't know if that's going to lead to anything down the road, but maybe I'm reading too much into it. But you never know. They plant seeds sometimes like that. So
guess we'll find out in time.
yeah.
But I guess for now, we're gonna go and watch the next match. See you guys.
On to the next match. And we're back. We just watched the 8th match, which was Hiroki Goto versus Sonata. This is a nice little match. There was some chain wrestling to start it off, per usual, but it was notable. Goto hits a shoulder block off the bat into a hip toss and a clothesline. And then Sonata immediately comes back out of the ring. He got knocked out of the ring. He comes back, hits a springboard drop kick. Then they go back outside. Goto gets tossed to the rail, and he starts doing some chops, or like chest slap style chops. And then Sonata drops Goto like throat first on the rail, but he was protected. Sonata puts Goto back in the ring, and then he starts hitting the elbows on the back of Goto's neck. And so the announce team was starting to say that Goto had some previous neck injuries, and that was sort of why Sonata was working that angle. And also just because his finish works the neck too. So it makes sense for him to do that. And then Sonata does a moonsault into a basement drop kick, changes angles right before he lands, and then hits him in the back neck-ish. Then Goto hits a clothesline, and Goto kicks Sonata like hella hard in the chest, and then he gets into the corner. Goto runs up and does a spin heel kick on him. And then the first Ushigoroshi attempt onto Sonata, but it was reversed. And he does his little leapfrog tricks after that, where he bounces the guy off the ropes. He comes back behind him, and he jumps at the same time without looking. And then he goes outside the ring after a drop kick. Goto goes outside the ring after a drop kick from Sonata, and then Sonata hits a plancha over the dive over the top. They go back into the ring they start doing these forearm exchanges, which is pretty much become a staple of New Japan. Like if you watch that, then these forearm exchanges are well known.
It's like the chops of WWE, the Ric Flair
yeah,
chops.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like their thing. Like instead of they kind of try to adhere to the like no closed fist hitting rule, which is sort of what makes professional wrestling. If you kind of just throw working punches all the time, then it doesn't make sense for all these other moves to come together, like the European uppercut or the forearm. It's like, why don't you just punch him in the face? Although they make an exception for Juice, they let him do whatever. But
Juice has got a pretty punch though, so
yeah, he does. He worked on that really hard. He didn't want to give that up. So all right, forearm exchange, and then Sonata hits a big European uppercut. Well, I just said that it was coming. It's like foreshadowing. Goto does. Oh, and then yeah, you can take it from there after that European uppercut.
All right, so on that on the Yugarashi, Sonata really eats that one pretty hard. He hits the back of his neck on the knee pad, right there, kind of like at the base of your spine and your neck. It looks like he ate it really hard. Bounced his head off the mat. It looked like, I don't know, I couldn't really see. The camera angle wasn't quite there for it, but it looked like a pretty nasty bump. Then after that, Sonata comes back, hits a Yugarashi of his own. Moving forward a little bit, Sonata, he grabs a skull end, but Goto's really sweaty. He can't really hook it right. He keeps sliding out of it, so finally he just abandons that attempt, goes to the top rope for a moonsault, comes off the top rope, he misses, and shortly thereafter Sonata is turned inside out with a clothesline from Goto. It was nasty. I mean, we're talking JBL clothesline here. He turned him inside out. He's probably going to regret taking that move tomorrow.
Yeah.
You got some great rope work after that. These guys are just really good at running the ropes, doing their thing. Going into a reverse GTR, and then right into a pin attempt after that. What's up?
Hold on, you missed the headbutt.
Oh gosh, that nasty headbutt.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
You grabbed him by the arm and just laid it in there.
Yeah.
It was right in the pocket though, so it was perfect. Like it wasn't like he killed him with it, but it looked solid.
Yep, and the camera was straight on right behind, so nothing was given away there. It was beautiful. It looked terrible, but oh man.
Yeah.
Beautifully terrible. So now we're back to the reverse GTR that goes straight into a pin attempt that was so close. The announce team, the American announce team, even Jujin over on the Japanese team, they thought it was both. They both thought it was 3. They had to clarify with Red Shoes, and sure enough, it was only a 2 count. Man, it was so close. After that, Sonata, he grabs the skull end, but it doesn't quite work. Gets turned into a reverse GTR, with Sonata hanging from the top ropes, by his feet. Just kind of clotheslined him out there along the top ropes. Then it looks like Kota was going to go for a skull end for himself, and ends up turning that into a second GTR for the 1-2-3.
Yeah, I know you said you didn't really see it, but when I watched him Sonata take that move, it looked like he bent like extra backwards at that point of his knee hitting his spine. Like, I just cringed because I can feel that pain.
I'm gonna go back and watch that one again later on.
Yeah, it just looks like he bounces like just right to where the rest of his body kind of keeps going while his back is like just at that point. Like, I don't know, but yeah, that was it, and we're getting on to the next one, huh?
On to the next one. Alright guys, so we're back, and we're gonna approach this one a little bit differently.
Go watch it.
This is Kota Ibushi versus Zack Sabre Jr. I have over 2 pages of notes before I gave up writing.
Yeah.
Also, this is my little doggy. That's Jazzy Jazz. He's a good dog unless he tries to bite you, and then he's heel dog. But anyway, all right. So like I said, we're gonna do our best on this one. It's crazy though. Really, go out, watch it, find it wherever you can. Hopefully, you're gonna subscribe to New Japan World because it's totally worth it. Keep plugging them, so maybe they'll see us one day and send us some swag
Shirts.
or something.
Yeah,
We want t-shirts. We'll work for t-shirts and towels.
Yes. We'll work for merch.
Yes. We will keep doing YouTube forever for you.
Hey, that's our first shirt right there. There you go.
We'll work for merch. Alright, so getting into this match, Alright, so they start off just by feeling each other out. That ends up in Zack breaking Ibushi's guard somehow, some way. Oh man.
It was with his leg. He did it with he like looped his leg back behind him and hit broke his guard with his fucking leg.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No. Your guess is
I was
as
just
good
so
as
impressed.
mine.
I was so impressed by that. I was just like, okay. Everyone was saying something. We had to go back and watch that.
Yeah, we started over.
Yeah.
All right, so that was a great exchange. It ended up in a knuckle lock. Everybody or both of the men's hands were grasped like this. They went back and forth in so many different combinations and twists, and it was like a puzzle, little wire puzzles, the little desk things that you can spin around on top of each other. They did that for a while. Then they went into some great technical wrestling. Short pin attempt, broken by the leg of Kota. He releases. Alright, Zack Sabre Jr. released the hands after that pin attempt, and they kind of did the whole slow back off thing, and then he just went right back in and grabbed another hold. Whenever Ibushi thought he was out of something, he just ended up someplace else, trapped again. There was a monkey flip by Zack Sabre Jr. And then they still locked up in a bridge with their knuckles locked together. Pin attempt, while they were in the bridge by both men, which in this tournament, both men can be pinned, and if that happens, it's counted as a draw, and they get 1 point instead of the 2. Just a little clarification on tournament stuff there. Alright, so while they're still locked up, Kota starts in kicking the legs of Zack Sabre Jr. because that's about the only thing he can do. There's no way he can escape. That ends with a roundhouse by Kota. Zack Sabre Jr. goes down, and when he gets back up, he's met with a fury of assault. Hands, legs, knees, elbows, kitchen sink, all of it, all in about half a second. So, extremely fast striking ability by Coda, and then on the opposite end of the spectrum, you've got a submission joint manipulation master in Zack Sabre Jr. He knows more about the human anatomy and joints and holds and muscle manipulation than, I mean, if he was a surgeon, I mean,
that should just be his name, like his nickname, you know? The surgeon. Fucking, he goes out it like a surgeon.
The chiropractor.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, at one point, I don't even know if I have this one written down, but at one point during one of those exchanges and lockups, you know, from leg hold to leg hold to leg hold, something audibly popped. And you could hear
really?
it. Yeah, something audibly popped. And I don't know what it was, whether it was a knee or an ankle, but...
Ooh, I didn't even hear that. I gotta go back. I'm gonna watch this match again. Anyway.
I am too. And everybody else is too. They're all going to follow along, and then they're going to be like, look at these two idiots on YouTube. They don't know how to talk about a wrestling match, and then they'll figure it out.
We're new, okay? Yeah, it's fine.
Fury of Assault ends in a standing moonsault attempt by Kota Ibushi. Zack Sabre Jr. goes out to the apron, or no, he drags Kota to the apron, starts working that arm around the rope, and then Kota, he gets free, runs back to the opposite corner, jumps up on that corner where Zack is, goes for a top rope moonsault, but on his way down, Zack grabs his leg, almost kind of like dragon screws him a little bit, down to the apron, locks it up in a submission move, and Red Shoes is like, no, you can't submit the dude on the outside of the ring, and then Zack just drops both of them to the floor, where he continues that, has to be broken up by the ref, via the counting. Once they're back in the ring, Zack Sabre Jr. twists Kota into a pretzel.
Oh yeah, that was what I call the all limb lock, is what he did there at some point.
Okay. Yeah, at one point, Kota was totally immobilized.
Yeah, I don't know where that was, but it's somewhere in there. Every limb he had was like behind him. Like it was. I don't even know what to call that.
It was the proper version of the Paradise Lock.
Yeah, that's like anti-paradise right there.
Yeah. All right. See, so after the pretzel maneuver, Zack kicks, Zack kicks, and then Kota answers with a closed fist. Red Shoes Uno gets onto him about that closed fist. Kota goes to the outside, calm down, get his cool back, and then comes back in. Zack goes on a striking spree himself, and then ends up with a leg lock on Ibushi. Then we have the move that I call the rolling STF from hell. I believe that's what I was just talking about. The rolling STF from hell. He just grabs a leg, twists it into a figure four, and then a half crab, and then a sharpshooter, and a walls of Jericho, and then back down onto the mat, and just, yeah, you take yourself a rope, tie it up real good, and that's where Kota Ibushi was. That's all I can say about that. Yeah, standing double stomp. Oh, you remember that? The standing double stomp?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was pretty nasty, too, because he, like, ricocheted off of him when he hit him, so it was, like, kind of nasty looking.
Yeah, and that ended up being it goes back into a waist lock. Zack Sabre Jr., Zack Sabre Jr.'s got him in a wrist lock. Ends up coming around
this is all over the place, man. This thing is just everywhere. Like, yeah. This match was just everywhere.
He did like he kicks the wrist out like a Pele style kick to the wrist, free it up, flying crossbody. Kota miss, springboard into Boston, or single Boston crab, torture, kicks, torture, more torture, octopus, a couple of octopuses. You can tell they're getting kind of tired and sloppy there at the end, just because of the amount of work that they'd put in. You know, there's a couple times where they're going for a move, they couldn't quite get it, ended up falling back on the ropes. Man, I mean, what else happened on the end of this thing, man?
All right, let's see. Let me get myself straight here. All right, I'm just gonna. This might run into what you said, but I'm just gonna go over this because I think this is pretty close to where you left off. All right. So there's a point where Kota goes for a power bomb, and then Zach. That's when Zach catches him in the all limb lock. It's when Kota goes to that power bomb and he like slips off the back and then somehow twists him into I don't know what kind of seventh ring of hell he put him in, and then Kota gets a power slam. I think he goes for a moonsault and Zach starts hitting some PKs. And then let's see. Oh, then we have the leg trap German that Zach had a leg trap on him, and then he was doing the German suplex. Kota sort of rolled all the way over, but it kind of looked like he didn't hit perfectly on his feet. But he sold it like he just landed totally on his feet fine. And then, oh yeah, that's when the punch was. So then they had the slap fest. Kota
got
Zach.
mad, dude. He got real mad.
Yeah, so then Kota starts going for the Kamigoye knees, and Zach is blocking him. He's blocking the knees like a couple of times, and they're down in that position. And then Kota hits a sit-out powerbomb. That's when they go into another octopus stretch. And that's when they have that little bit of a botch where they're Kota was trying to carry Zach over. He kind of fell back into the ropes, and then good cover by Don Callis. It was like, that leg just buckled out from under him. Zach's been working it this whole match, and so he was able to sort of, I don't know, save that a bit. I thought it was a good save. And then at the end, there's just bridges by Zach, I put, because there's just like 3 or 4 different bridges that he goes through, and there's that unique sequence, and it goes in. And seriously, just go watch that match, because everything we say about this can't do it justice, and it's just a clinic. And at the end there, Kota Ibushi hits the Kamigoye knee, and that's 2 points. You got the pinfall, and it was solid.
Yeah, I've got Octopus applied by Zack Sabre Jr. Kota's knees give out, fall under ropes. Octopus again turns into a Zack driver, which gets countered into a dragon suplex. And then Kota pulls his knee pad down. Flippy submission stuff, pin attempt, knee lock, twisty, turny, suplexes,
just go watch
jacket
it.
style,
just
Kamagori knee, 1, 2, 3.
Go watch it. If you understand any of this stuff, then yeah, go watch it. Sounds like we're speaking a different language. So yeah, that was just worth it. That was the match right before the main event, and like, God, I don't even know how you. I mean, they're gonna top it because it's Kenny and Naito, but like, that was just a solid match. I just really recommend to go watch it. If you want to see something different in a wrestling match that you don't normally see, both of these guys that have unique styles and then put up against each other, it was just something special. So.
All right, so we just spent about 11 minutes on something that we really can't explain. So go watch it. We're gonna go watch the Kenny match, and we'll see you in a few.
And we're back. We just watched the main event of that first B block night, and it was Tetsuya Naito versus Kenny Omega, and it was their third G1 match over the years so far, and it did not disappoint. It was the opening B block main event, and I'm not going to go into too much detail. We're going to try to do this a little bit differently here. It's not going to be so much of a play-by-play. We're just going to hit key points and then talk about what we liked about it at the end. So. It started off sort of with, Naito doing his thing with his pants and everything, and Kenny was like, looking at his watch, hey, what's going on? Why are you taking so much time? His fake watch, he didn't really have one. And then they started mocking each other, each other's moves, like Kenny started doing like the Destino thing and everything, and they're just doing each other's stuff, trying to like get in each other's head. I'm not going to go into, like I said, too much detail about every little move, but there was a point where Kenny hit a backbreaker, did a camel clutch. Naito took a beating for a while, and then he finally got some slight offense in, and that's when Kenny was going for a power bomb. Naito hits the hip toss into the drop kick to get control back. So they go for a while. Kenny ends up hitting Naito spits at Kenny. They did a spit spot. I think there might have been 2 spots like that. I couldn't tell. There was a camera angle that
Kenny had one, or I think he might have spit on Kenny on one. I don't remember. Like you
I
said,
know
the
one
camera
for
was
sure
off.
he did. I know for sure that one was like blatant.
Yeah, that
So I
was
know,
after he spit. That's what Naito spit
yeah,
on the doctor, and then
yeah, okay.
Kenny spit on Naito, and there's the one way before all that may or may not have happened. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So then, yeah, Naito hits a couple neck breakers. There's a couple near falls there. Kenny starts getting back into control, hits a snap Rana, and then he goes for his Terminator spot, but Naito counters that. He hits a Tornado DDT instead. Naito's back in control now. And then, basically, Kenny hits his Terminator spot after he botched that first one. Well, not botched, but Naito countered it, and then Kenny got his second one in, and he dove like off that top rope when he springboard. That has to be close to 15 feet distance that he hit out there. Just watch that. That speaks for itself. Then he hits a Snapdragon gut wrench sit out power bomb. Does a couple V triggers here and there. Top rope Frankensteiner from Naito. Naito hits his Gloria for a 2 count. Then it starts to go to the end of the match. Starts to come up pretty quick here. So one thing you need to know is that they're teasing the Destino and the One Wing Angel this whole time, which they like to do, and so they go for the One Wing Angel. Kenny goes for the One Wing Angel, and Naito catches him in sort of like a half Destino. Like, you know, his Destino, he normally starts on the ground and does like a whole flip revolution and then lands it, but he only got him in like a half one, so he tries to go for a second one. And then Kenny threw him up into the One Wing Angel from that position, and then Naito goes to do like a roll up from that position, and Kenny catches him and just slams him down on the ground on the mat. And so then there's another V trigger to the back of the neck, crazy back elbow too to Naito. They've teased that spot from Wrestle Kingdom 11, which was a top rope dragon suplex that Kenny hit on Okada, and I've never seen that move since then because it looked like it paralyzed the guy. If you just watch that in a bubble, like it is a crazy spot. And so they teased that every now and then and did that here. Then from that spot, they teased One Wing Angel from the top rope. And Naito hits a Uranagi after that. Destino near fall. Sorry, that might be out of order. Wheel kick. Destino. Bunch of teases, like I said. So the last time he goes for the Destino, Kenny catches him on the shoulder in the middle of his rotation, and then he just takes Naito and just drives him into a sit-out tombstone for a 2 count. And then from there, he goes home. He hits him with the J Driller, V Trigger, One Wing Angel, and that's the finish on that. But yeah, what are your thoughts on everything?
It's a pretty good summary that you had there, Brother Lucas. I mean, just excellent booking. Anytime you got a Kenny Omega match, you can automatically start at 4 stars. You put Naito in there, you significantly raise that up to the 4.5, 5-star rating anyway, and I'm sure this will be highly rated by Mr. Meltzer. Yeah, a couple of things. We talked about the spit spot. We talked about the mocking. They're telling stories. They really are. I don't really have too much to add from that.
Oh, I forgot. Do you want to talk about that little fake Tranquilo spot? I missed that.
Oh yeah, the Tranquilo spot. Let me find that.
I think that was in the beginning.
Yeah, it was. I gotta find it in my notes here. But anyway, what happened was Naito, I think he tossed Kenny out of the ring, and then he tossed Kenny out of the ring. And then he teased a suicide dive through the ropes, came back, faked a Tranquilo spot. So he went all the way down, so Kenny thought that the Tranquilo was coming. Went all the way down, popped up, hit the ropes, teased another suicide dive to the outside, flew back, hit an actual Tranquilo. So
yeah,
scouting your opponent, getting into the mind games, which is what the top end of this match was all about. It was all about mind games, getting inside of each other's head. And these guys, they wrestled 2 nights ago in an excellent match, and this one, it's It's so good. Go out and watch it. Subscribe to New Japan World. After the match, Kenny did his usual spiel in the ring, his promo spot, and he basically just thanked everybody in New Japan Wrestling. He thanked the Japanese people in attendance. Oh, he thanked everybody in attendance, not just the Japanese people. It was mostly in Japanese, so I didn't get a lot of it. He did provide a little bit more of English in the backstage interview after the match. Again, just saying, hey, look, if any of you guys out there, specifically, the English-speaking Americans that are familiar with Western-style wrestling, if you're tuning into this show, you're going to see a variety of all styles, and it's just so good. Again, he thanked everybody in the back for giving it their all. He said, you know what, I don't care if you don't think I have the best match on this show. I just want you to tune in and watch it. And if you like somebody else, that's great. But I'm going to go out there, I'm going to give it my all, and I'm going to show you what a real champion is. And thank you, goodbye, and good night. That was pretty much it. So unless you have anything else, I think we're going to call it a night too.
Yeah, just real quick about that Tranquilo spot. I like that they're just changing stuff up. They're doing, like, you expect one thing and they do something else. Like, they're keeping you on your toes, and you're not just watching the same matches, even though these guys have had matches. They all have like different tones to them. You're not just watching the same thing over and over again. So, and even if you did, you wouldn't care. So yeah, I just wanted to say that they're doing good, like changing it up and keeping everything fresh as far as that goes. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I like how they build matches in New Japan, especially in the main event, where they go really slow and they take a long time, and then when they get there, the payoff is right there, and it's great. So yeah, I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, I really loved this match at the beginning because they were going slow enough where I could keep up with my writing.
yeah, that sort of tends to be a problem towards the end when you're just scribbling. Yeah. It just starts to be
page and a half of notes. So. Real quick.
Yeah.
So on that note, everybody, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell notification.
Bye and good night. Bang!